Welcome to Teaching Orchestra. We're on stage today because we're going to be talking about balance and blend. So we're going to do sort of a different thing. We've got a different microphone set up. The cool thing about wearing a mask is that it's really good for attaching a lav mic. So no more having to hook it to the lapel. So today we have a string trio, and I put together a little arrangement of music, and we're going to be talking about how different dynamic ranges can affect our balance and blend. So we're just going to do a bass line where I want everybody to play in bowing lane 3 just so everybody can hear what it's supposed to sound like, and then we're going to do it a couple of different ways. So just bowing lane 3, 2, ready, and. Okay, now we're going to do this again, and we're going to do a soft version of it. Sometimes in music we have a pianissimo section, and we have melodies and harmonies, and sometimes we can't hear where the melody is because of the harmony. Now in 3-part we have a melody, counter melody, and we have a bass line, and what can happen is that the melody gets just plain outnumbered by the upper voices. Now when the melody is in the highest voice, they have an acoustical advantage because we tend to pick up higher frequencies in the ear more easily. So, but if that voice tends to be in the low strings or in a lower voice, then we have to make some adjustments. So now we're going to do pianissimo, still bowing lane 3, just to get another bass line of what it sounds like, okay? 1, 2, ready, and. Okay, now we're going to adjust the balance a little bit, and we can do this in different ways. We can simply have somebody play louder or other people play softer, but I like the balance that we have now. I just want to adjust the focus of the sound, you know, kind of like a camera lens zooming in on what's important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place more emphasis on the inner voice, the counter melody. So I'm going to have Jess play in bowing lane 2, and I'm going to have everybody else play in bowing lane 5. And I just want you to hear, they're going to play the same pianissimo dynamic, and I just want you to hear the change in the sound and how that sort of focuses towards the counter melody, all right? Bowing lane 2, bowing lane 5, lots of finger pressure on the left hand. Pianissimo, ready, and. So you can see how that sounds remarkably different. And we could move this around too. We could have Angelina play in bowing lane 2 if we wanted to bring out more of the bass line if something's not getting picked up. And we don't have to take it all the way to bowing lane 2. We can move a little bit closer to the bridge, and we don't have to move the other voices all the way up to bowing lane 5. It just kind of depends on how much in focus we want and how background we want everything else. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to try a fortissimo section where everybody's playing nice and loud. And sometimes the melody can get buried here because the dynamic level is up and we can't have the melodic instruments necessarily playing louder because they're already maxed out. So I want everybody to play bowling lane 3 and fortissimo. 2, ready, and. All right, nice. So that's our bass line. Now I want to adjust the balance a little bit. I want to bring up the bass line a little bit more. I wasn't hearing it quite as strongly as the other voices. So I'm going to have Angelina go ahead and play in bowling lane 2. And then you guys go ahead and play bowling lane 4. Let's not go all the way up to bowling lane 5 because we still kind of need some, you know, a little bit of that edgy timbre so that we can project a little bit. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, ready, and. All right, let's do that again. Let's everybody play fortissimo and just stay in that bowling lane where we're supposed to be. I felt like our total dynamic level dropped down a little bit. So stay fortissimo, bowling lane 4 for you guys, bowling lane 2 for you. 2, ready, and. So if we go through and we look at all the levels that are coming in through the microphones, and we see, you know, sound volume is measured in decibels, and we detect all of the decibel ratings in all the microphones, we can manipulate the volume to bring things out, but we can also manipulate the perception of sound, and we do this by manipulating the waveform. And if I go into my audio editing software, I can see all the jagged lines, which represents the compression of the air. When sound moves through the air, it compresses and relaxes the air. And when we're playing closer to the bridge, we have sharper waveforms. You know, we have more angular waves. And when we're playing closer to the fingerboard, we have a rounder sound, a rounder waveform. And the jagged edges of the sharper waveform tend to cut through the sound more. And the other wave levels tend to decrease, the rounded sound tends to blend a little bit better. So just by manipulating the bow placement, we're not necessarily affecting the total volume level of the sound, but we are affecting the balance and blend. If we're wanting to cut through, we simply play closer to the bridge, and that sound will penetrate the orchestral timbre a little bit more. And if we want to take something into the background, then we play closer to the fingerboard and we play with a rounder sound. The volume and dynamic level stays the same, okay? So there's a difference between dynamics and balance and blend, okay? The dynamics are one layer, balance and blend are another, and with that we have to use a lot of tricks to manipulate the perception of loudness and softness, but keep the dynamic levels the same as the composer has indicated. So I hope this video helps to demonstrate that concept, and I hope that your orchestras can change their bowling lanes to do a better job with balance and blend, figure out how to bring out those melodies and take those harmonies down so that we can adjust the timbre and focus in like on a camera lens, like we're focusing in on what we want to hear with our ears. So thank you for listening, and thank you for watching, and hope you have a great day.